On to this now. Hundreds of foreign nationals have appeared in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. This follows raids on counterfeit goods in the CBD last week. 10 police officers were also in the dock on various charges, including corruption related to the sting operation. Slindelo Masigane was in court.
While inside court dockets were being sorted through, outside, various organizations were picketing against the arrests of foreign nationals. Some were released after their documents were verified by Home Affairs. These foreign nationals say their treatment in custody left much to be desired.
Silele simili since singena la silele simekona siphuma izolo Sunday ngabo 6 thina abanye siyagula sine asthma mara silale phansi asidli next mara siphatha ama passport sifuna ukwazi ukuthi kwenzakalani because sina ama passport and asenamalanga waphelelwanga ngamalanga.
Do you have any lawful grounds to remain within the Republic of South Africa, sir? I'm informed by Home Affairs you could produce no documentation to them.
Those arrested were grouped according to their nationalities, appearing before several different magistrates.
So seeing that you have no lawful grounds to remain in the Republic of South Africa, I've signed a warrant under Section 34 for your deportation. You will be held at the Lindela Repatriation Center for the next 30 days until such time that they are in a position to deport you from the country.
At the same time, 10 police officers appeared on charges of corruption, theft and defeating the ends of justice. These tactical response team members are accused of tipping off traders ahead of the raid. This group of officers allegedly tried to sell the counterfeit goods back to traders. And these three are accused of stealing some of the fake products. The cases against the officers have been postponed to Tuesday. Slindelo Masigane, Johannesburg.
Well, Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba says the Home Affairs Department has failed to deal with the issue of undocumented foreigners. Well, he's written to Parliament's Portfolio Committee requesting an opportunity to give details about the dysfunctional state of the department. His comments come on the back of a recent raid in the Johannesburg CBD. Mashaba joins us in studio now this morning to tell us more about his efforts. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your time. Let me start with this question. You've been accused of xenophobia towards African migrants. Some say, why have you not targeted China City, for example?
I think it's
counterfeit goods.
I think it's really very unfair, and I think I don't think anyone would expect me to accept that my utterances are only targeting Africans. We're sitting with people from Pakistan, India, Czech Republic and so forth. Why, when I raise the issue of migrants, do you and some of the people in the media just refer this to Africans? This is not an African problem. This is an international problem. International criminal syndicates are using this country as a springboard to come and commit criminal activity, including human trafficking.
Let me ask this.
So why do we then obviously really only want to really target this as just really targeting Africans?
Mr. Mayor, simple question. Have the effort to try and rid the city of counterfeit goods gone to China City at all?
Let me tell you, the question of counterfeit goods is not the competency of the city of Johannesburg. I run a municipality. I'm sure you know the constitution of this country. For the raids to be conducted on counterfeit goods, it's a raid led by the South African Police Services, and obviously we.
Are you aware that?
And I've always really called on them. We give them tips of where to really go, because we on the ground as a city know where the problems are. So unfortunately, whether they have to start really somewhere, but as far as I'm concerned, as you are aware, I've been dealing with this matter for the last 2.5 years. So if we had really started and heeded my call, when I raised this issue from December 2016, that the city of Johannesburg is sitting with the time bomb. Time bomb not only in the inner city, like you say, China Mall and other areas and so forth, would really be very fast. So I think I'm really pleased that the process has begun, and I hope that the South African Police Services and Home Affairs are going to intensify this so that every corner of the city of Johannesburg where crime is committed, that raids are conducted.
Mr. Mayor, in the interest of time, I'm going to have to rush us along. You've mentioned the city's health department as one of the victims of the inability to plan and budget properly. Do you want to elaborate a little?
Yeah, tell me, how do you expect us as a city with massive backlog, with our clinics in the city of Johannesburg? We do monthly stats of people visiting our clinics without having the documentation. Right now, the numbers run between 25 and 39% of our clinics are visited by people with no documentation whatsoever. And unfortunately, we can't send them back. But at the same time, we've got to treat them. And it has obviously come to attention where these undocumented people go from one clinic to the next, collecting medication which gets shipped out of the country. And now, when our people are sick, come to our clinic, sometimes we run out of medication. Because when we plan on the basis of the number of our residents.
Mayor, you've now written to the chairperson of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs, Bongani Bongo. I don't mean to cast aspersions on Mr. Bongo, but he does have a checkered past. That's number one. Number two, why do you think you'll get any help at all?
Well, let me tell you, this raid is as a result of writing to Home Affairs. Do you think the raid that you saw last week happened because all of a sudden Home Affairs and our national criminal justice system decided to act? It is because I have written to Home Affairs before the time. They were reacting to my letters because I gave them a dossier. And what I did not only send it to the chairperson, I made sure that all the political parties in the portfolio get copies of this. And I did not only write to Home Affairs, I've written to the MPA because I'm sitting as the city of Johannesburg with 33 billion rands of...
I guess the question is, Mayor, do you think you're going to get any help from someone like Bongani Bongo, who chairs the...
Fortunate enough, the political parties, all the political parties that sits in that committee, they all have that dossier. So the chairperson is not going to be the one in charge. So all the political parties have got this whole dossier that are presented to Parliament.
Mr. Mayor, this morning on the front page of the Citizen newspaper, you quoted there as... venting your frustration about what you say is the lack of progress by the NPA on a number of corruption cases. Which cases are we talking here?
Well, let me just really give you one. The one that everyone knows because this I discovered hardly 6 months in office. The substation in El Dorado Park and the refurbishment of the one in Hopefield. When I went, the 88 million rands was paid. When I went, there was no substation. In the process, discovered the city was given a fraudulent bank guarantee. Up to today, those guys never spent a day in jail. They were only, after pushing almost a year, eventually they were arrested, given bail. A year later, the case was withdrawn, and the NPA tell us they don't have. They tell us they don't have sufficient evidence. What evidence do you want? We have 28 different progress payments. We've got a fraudulent case. There was no substation. What more evidence do you run? This is just really one of the examples that I can give you. 33 billion rands worth of cases, some of them really very serious. Billions of money involving senior politicians in our country.
A final question, Mr. Mayor. With all the changes you're hoping to ring in, but you do face a motion of no confidence from the ANC. Question is, will you survive it without the support of the EFF?
Let me tell you, Goli, I'm sure you know very well, on the 22nd of August 2016, I was elected by 52% of council. ANC voted against me. So I'm not the mayor of the city of Johannesburg at the behest of the ANC.
But you are
so
at the
therefore,
behest of the EFF.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying, is I was elected by 52% of council. That if ever I have to really be removed, I'll be removed by the people who voted me into power. And fortunately enough, I'm one person who believes in democracy. It's for that reason I entered this race. So if obviously the parties that elected me into power, they feel that I'm not the right person and they want me to step aside, this is the last job in the world I want. I will go out and go and play golf and read some books. I'm happy to play that, to go and play that role.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for waking up to talk to us here. Thank you. The first take.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. All right, Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba.